Welcome back to another Bourbon Santa video. Today we're going to do something completely different. This is a tasting kit from Bardstown. It was sent to me by a viewer. It says, "Hey Austin, I purchased a bottle of Bardstown Discovery Series number 2, and I got this tasting kit as a little bonus. I immediately thought of you, the tasting videos you've been making, and how fun it would be to watch you put this flight through its paces. Not sure if you've had anything from Bardstown Bourbon Company. The Discovery Series number 2 is the first I've tried, and I find it absolutely delicious. I hope you enjoy the flight. Thanks for all the great videos and the stuff you do in the BJ Bourbon Junkies Facebook group. Jason." Thank you so much, Jason. I'm super excited to do this. I have had some of the Bardstown stuff. I've had the Fusion Series 1. I've had Discovery Series 1 also, and some of the finished collaboration stuff. I've had Pfeiffer Pavitt and 2 others. I forget which off the top of my head. But this is super exciting to me because what I have here in front of me is a bottle of their distillate, so their White Dog. So you can see it's perfectly clear, White Dog. A bottle of their Maturate, which is their own whiskey, fully aged, and then proofed back down to barrel entry point. So it's a batch proof version of just their stuff. And then I have Fusion Series 3 and Discovery Series 3. Discovery is a blend of other bourbons, and none of it on here says that it's from Bardstown. Fusion Series 3 has 2 different Bardstown bourbons and then a Kentucky 12-year bourbon blended together to make it. This one, this Maturate, makes up 42% of Fusion Series 3. So that's going to be really interesting to actually get to taste pure Bardstown, new Bardstown juice. So I'm super excited for that. Over here for comparison, I have what's left of my Bardstown Fusion batch number 1 and Bardstown Discovery batch number 1. So we can use those to compare when we get down here. So let's jump right in and nose their White Dog. It's 60% corn, 36% wheat, and 4% malted barley. So there's 0 rye in this. Oh, it is super, super sweet. Wow, okay. Definitely corn. It's giving me a hint of like a candy. Like a super candied sweetness. That super candy sweetness is overpowering the wheat and the barley. I can hardly pick those up at all. Maybe just a hint of the barley. Even though that's only 4%, I don't know why I'm getting a hint of that. But I'm really not getting much of the wheat at all. It's definitely corn. It almost hits me like cotton candy almost. This artificial, super strong sweetness. Okay, wow. I'm going to nose the Maturate before I taste the distillate. Okay. Wait a minute. These are not the same animals. I overlooked this before when I was looking at the little card here. This Maturate is 36% rye. So this is in here. But this is something different. Well, that's interesting. Why would they do this in the thingy here? So Fusion Series 3 has this distillate is 42% of it. Okay. No. Well, that's confusing as heck. Why would they do that? Okay, so this distillate is 60% corn, 36% wheat, 4% malted barley. Now that shows up nowhere down here unless there's a misprint on this card. None of this distillate is in any of these. This Maturate is 60% corn, 36% rye, 4%. You know what? I'll bet you that's a misprint. I'll bet you it's a misprint. Over here on the Maturate, instead of rye, it should say wheat because the percentages match perfectly. And then down here on Fusion Series 3, I'll bet you that's a misprint. They have rye instead of wheat. It's possible, you know, honestly, it's possible that on the distillate, where it says wheat, that could be the misprint. Something's misprinted on this card for the distillate, Maturate, and the Fusion Series 3 because we should have a match here because the percentages match perfectly. Distillate, Maturate, and then 42% of Fusion Series 3. Yeah, the percentages match perfectly, so it's definitely a misprint. I don't know if it's the wheat. See, and this is what made me notice it, on the Maturate, on the 3-year-old mature Bardstown, I smell the rye. I don't pick it up. I really don't pick it up on the nose of the White Dog, but on the Maturate, I absolutely pick up the rye. So I think that the misprint is on the distillate where it says wheat, 36%. I think it's supposed to say rye. Okay, now that we've been totally sidetracked by that, there is absolutely rye in this. The rye really shows through. Big, big. It's a big rye note. Very evergreen, very effervescent, there's a mintiness to it. I'll tell you what though, I really like that nose for their own stuff. I'm so excited for when we get to a point where Bardstown is putting out their own whiskey without all this blending. I'm sure they're still going to do a lot of blending, but I believe there's a day coming where we're going to see a pure Bardstown bourbon on the market, and it's going to be interesting because this is a fascinating nose, and it's only 3 years old. So now let's go here to Fusion, which has got 42% of this in it. This smells clearly much older. It's got 40% of a 12-year Kentucky whiskey that's 74% corn, 18% rye, and 8% malted barley. Oh, sweet, sweet cherry. Creamy. Beautiful vanilla. So this has two different 3-year-old Bardstown mash bills. It has a 69% corn, 20% wheat, 12% malted barley, and then what is this? 60% corn, 36% rye, 4% malted barley. So this is a 4-grain whiskey. Because we're corn, rye, barley, and wheat. So this is a 4-grain whiskey. Smells lovely. All right, let's go back to the distillate, to the White Dog. We're going to taste it, and then we're going to pick up. I've had this experience every time I've tried a White Dog distillate and then the finished product, like the Buffalo Trace White Dog and then Stag Junior, Stag GTS. You can, once you try the White Dog, you can taste hints of that White Dog in the finished product. So we're going to do it that way and go White Dog first. Super, super sweet. Oh, unbelievably sweet. Oh man. I gotta tell you, that's some of the tastiest White Dog distillate that I've ever tasted. That makes the Buffalo Trace White Dog look bad. The Buffalo Trace White Dog is very corn syrupy and harsh and astringent. This is 120 proof, so 60% alcohol, but that does not drink like it. That drinks nice and smooth. And just pretty. Wow. That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. Okay, let's try their 3-year-old version of this. Okay, the rye notes are there. It's got a really nice oak layer. Some of the flavors are kind of half formed. I think it needs more time in the barrel. The cherry is muted. The vanilla is muted. It's just young. It's just young. It comes off a little young, and the flavors are half developed like a young whiskey. So that's really going to turn into something nice. Give it another couple years. That'll be a beautiful whiskey. Beautiful whiskey. Let's go to Fusion. Oh, that is beautiful. That's nice. One thing I will give Bardstown, they are master blenders. The rye absolutely shows up. The wheat is starting to show up. It's just good. It's just great. There's a lot going on, and some of the notes are really on top of each other. That's one I'd have to sit with for a while and really tease stuff out of it. Now, I absolutely get this White Dog here and here. After tasting it, absolutely. It shows up, it shows through in the finished product, even on the nose. You know what's sad? Out of these first 3 that I've tried, the one that I enjoy the most is the White Dog. What the heck? This is it's just young. It just comes across young, and like the flavors are half developed, and this is not super balanced. It's some of the notes are stepping on each other's toes and making it a bit muddled. Let's try in comparison to Fusion batch number 1. There is a noticeable difference. This is a little sharper. So that'd be 44 point something% alcohol. So Fusion Series 3 is like 44% alcohol, 44 something. And Fusion Series, or Batch 1, Fusion Series 1, is 49.45. But this noses hotter. This is more rounded, less sharp, more vanilla, more brown sugar, almost hinting at chocolate. Almost a hint of banana on the taste. The rye is still there, but it's less pronounced. It's less of a big evergreen note for me, and more of a background accent kind of flavor. It shows up more on the back end of the palate going into the finish. Yeah, this drink's more bitter and a little harsher, a little sharper. So between these two, I have to give it to batch number 1. Batch number 1 is a little better than Fusion Series number 3. I love that they're experimenting and making each batch different. It's a cool collectible situation where you're going to have all these different batches throughout the years of Fusion and Discovery. But I think that this was they tried something new or different, a little mix different, and it doesn't work as well as batch number 1. Now, I have not had Fusion batch 2, and I'm looking for it. I've seen one around somewhere, but I didn't grab it, and now I don't remember which liquor store it was in. I'll get it eventually. So let's move on to Discovery Series. This is Discovery Series 3. It's 110 proof, and which is lower than batch 1. Batch 1 would have been 120 proof. Oh, almost 121 proof. So this is a good 10 proof lower, a good 5% alcohol lower than batch 1. Now this is corn, rye, and barley. So it's a 3-grain. Do what? There's another misprint on this card. 42% of this is a Kentucky 10-year bourbon, which reportedly is 103% rye, and 75% corn, and 12% barley. So I think Bardstown needs to do a little proofreading. I mean, I'm no English teacher like my wife, but I think I could help you guys out with proofreading this little card before you send it out to people. Because, seriously, what the hell? You got a wrong grain on here, and then the math really doesn't freaking work on Discovery Series 3, the Kentucky 10-year. It tastes good. Whatever Series 3 is made of, whatever the actual percentages are, that tastes great. Honestly, it tastes really good. It's not fighting with itself. It's a nice cohesive thing. And the flavors are layered and pretty. That's nice. Honestly, that's really great. I need to grab a bottle. I haven't seen Series 3 anywhere yet. I know it has a different color label than before. And I've been watching for it everywhere, and I haven't seen it. A lot of rye. Maybe I'm starting to believe that 103%. It does have a lot of rye. It has a really nice creaminess, though, behind the rye. Really nice vanillas. Really nice cherries. It's got a lot of oak. Everything in this is over 10 years old, bourbon-wise. It's 45% of an Indiana 13-year, which of course is going to mean it's 45% MGP 13-year juice, which everyone knows, if you've been around whiskey long enough, that a 13-year-old MGP is going to be wonderful. It's also 32% Kentucky 13-year-old, so there's a lot of age here in the glass. And then the remaining 42% is a 10-year-old Kentucky. So the youngest thing in here is 10 years old. The vast majority, 77% of this, is 13 years old. I'd love to know who the Kentucky distillery is for the 13-year-old. That's just a nice drink. That's very pretty. When I finally find a Series 3, I'm going to grab one. Now, let's go to Batch 1 Discovery Series. Higher, 10 proof higher. Don't smell like it, though. That's really interesting. Maybe it's possible that it's because these are in little bottles, because this is all I have left, and as a whiskey gets down in a bottle, I transfer it into smaller and smaller bottles until we're down to a sample. But my older Batch 1 Discovery, which is 10% higher alcohol, does not nose like it's higher. It doesn't nose as sharp. The rye is more prominent in the Bardstown Discovery Batch 1. And this is between the two, going back and forth. Although this one cuts a little sharper on the alcohol, the other flavors are more rounded. It's got a nice big vanilla note that's accented with caramel and cinnamon that is just to die for. And this one is going more evergreen and brown sugar. Yeah. Yeah. That comes off much heavier on the rye. Perceived rye. I don't know that it's higher in the mash bill. I didn't save all the numbers off of that one when I transferred it to the smaller bottle. Okay. So, conclusions. Fusion series, I prefer batch number 1. Discovery series, I prefer batch number 3, which is this newest one that I just tried, over my batch 1. Now, I haven't tried batch 2 yet, and I need to get one. I need to find one again and just grab it instead of waiting. And then compare these again so that I can compare each of the 3 to each other in their own flights. And I should probably do that blind. That's what I'll do next. I'm going to look for the Fusion batch 2, since I've got some batch 1. Oh, sorry, batch 3, batch 1. I need the 2, and compare them. Now, the scary part, out of all of these, to me, the most interesting was the White Dog. That's interesting. I've never had a White Dog or moonshine that I actually really liked. And this is just gorgeous. There's a circus peanut note, now that I'm coming back to it, that I'm getting a little bit, that I sometimes get on some tequilas. I get that little circus peanut note, and I'm getting it here. And it's just so sweet. It's like candy. Whew. Anyway, this is fascinating. Thank you so much, Jason. I couldn't appreciate this enough. I'm blown away. Thank you for thinking of me when you got this. And I loved making this video. I love trying these. Fantastic. Check out the description below for my Patreon page. There's a lot of cool stuff going on over there. You want to get in. You want to check it out. There's some awesome rewards over there. Go check it out. See what's up. Join the community. We do a lot of talking over there, and I post real often in my Patreon, and it turns into whole conversations, and it's developing into its own nice little community over there. Go check it out. Thank you for watching. Until next time, have a great day.